If it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kinda patient, 'cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. And crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm still awake. I was literally laying in bed and I was flipping through Twitter and I read this article about YouTube. Stupid move. Should not be reading while I'm trying to go to sleep. I just finished playing a little bit of Witcher 3. I'd been re-inspired by the amazing show on Netflix. Best thing ever if you haven't watched it yet. And happy New Year, everybody. I know it's super late for some of you, and it's probably first thing in the morning for some of you across the world. So thank you for joining me. Don't expect to get a lot of live viewers for this. It's so late, and a lot of my viewers are in America. But I wanted to get a bunch of thoughts out tonight before I forgot it all. And sometimes I do my best random thinking when my mind has been turned off. And if I go to sleep and I wake up the next morning, I won't remember any of it. So I literally marched downstairs, turned everything on, and here I am with you fine folks, sharing some of my ideas here. Now, YouTube playing sweeping changes to kids' videos after a $170 million fine. Basically what YouTube makes in 11 hours, they had to pay to the FTC. There are a lot of articles about this all over the place, and yeah, the show's incredible. And they've already inked the deal for season 2 of The Witcher. So, but and they're going to be coming out with a new Witcher game after Cyberpunk comes out. So we probably got a couple years left, and apparently it's not going to have Geralt in it. It's going to star a new Witcher, a different Witcher. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm really excited. I love the Witcher world, and I love the show. It's absolutely amazing. Welcome from Australia, Mr. Quantum Publishing. So anyway, what happened was, and I do believe that. So some of this is going to be idea, some of it is going to be fact, and some of it is going to be a little bit of conspiracy. And we're going to try to come up with a resolution to a lot of this stuff for YouTube tonight. And hopefully this won't be an exceedingly long video because I want to go to bed, but we'll see how it turns out. So basically what's happened is YouTube's algorithm, its advertising algorithm basically runs with cookies and things like that. And in order to be an effective advertisement platform, they need to gather information on its viewers. Well, the FTC is set because the more information they gather on the viewers, then they can basically pump appropriate advertising from the advertisers to the right people, right? You know, you don't want to be having an advertisement for a garden shed to a 10-year-old, right? Like it's not going to cut it. So they gather information like everybody else does. However, the FTC is saying, no, you can't gather information on somebody 13 years or under without their parental consent. And so because of that, YouTube got slapped with a $170 million fine, which really wasn't that much, but apparently it was one of the first times that the FTC has gone after the platform rather than the creator. Well, for obvious reasons. We don't control the advertising, right? We don't control the algorithm for that. We don't control any of that. We just create content and throw it up on the interwebs. So, rightfully so. However, they did get hit with a fine. And because of this, YouTube is making a lot of changes to how it operates and how the monetization system works in YouTube. And the way that's working is upcoming changes to kids' content on YouTube. We're making a few changes on how we collect and use data on kids' content on YouTube. These changes will address concerns raised by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission regarding our compliance under the COPPA laws. I believe that some of these changes are what created a bit of the ho-hum and, the mistakes in a lot of, it wasn't, a lot of you guys will remember recently that there were a lot of YouTube creators, primarily cryptocurrency YouTubers, that were up in arms about having their content flagged and shut down and deleted and strikes and their channels shut down. All kinds of stuff was going on. I also believe that it has something to do with this COPPA regulation, okay? And so for those of you that don't know, for, a couple months now, I think, we all YouTubers had a notification pop up saying, is this content for kids? Is this content kid friendly? And then there was a checkbox that you could just put in the main settings of your channel that said, none of my content is kid friendly. Stop asking. Like, I might cuss. I might, I'm a 40 something year old man. I don't think I'm putting anything on the internet for a 13-year-old. So I immediately just checked that box and said, look, nothing I'm doing is for kids. And so I didn't have any issues. I didn't get any strikes or warnings or anything, which is what I believe that could be why. It's part of why I believe that it had some, a lot of the issues that people were having were because of this. Now, you'll be required to tell us if your content is made for kids. In addition, we'll be using machine learning to help us identify videos that clearly target young audiences. At a high level, content that is made for kids has an emphasis on, and then it kind of goes into different things, popular kids songs, play acting, toys, animated characters, that sort of thing. So ultimately, you know your audience best, yada, yada, yada. And so they're basically saying prepare for these changes. This isn't dated, which that's silly. But anyway, so that's the gist of it. Now, what's going to happen is content that is not flagged as kid friendly can ultimately, the monetization of that content would ultimately cease. You wouldn't be able to monetize the content for kids. I'm sorry. I think it's the opposite. Content for kids. So, because they're saying, look, if your content, even though Disney does it, and you've got, you have companies that do this sort of thing, advertisements. So if the content is flagged not safe for kids, then you're just, it's a standard YouTube. No big deal, okay? However, if it is flagged for kids, well, YouTube is saying if your content is for kids, you're not going to be able to, we're not going to have monetization because we have no way of targeting who your viewers are because most of them are kids. And so we can't gather that data, which means we can't sell that data as, targeted advertisements. So as I was thinking about this, I was thinking of how can this be remedied to a certain extent. It's obvious that a content creator who knows its viewership, they're getting a slew of different deals, right? And there are all these scammers and all these people out there like, hey, let us be your agent. We want to be your talent agent. I've had these people contact me forever. We just want a percentage of your YouTube revenue, this and that. And I don't monetize. I never really monetize. I don't count on my monetization from YouTube. I have always basically sold my own. Like, hey, this is what I do. These are the views that I get. This is my audience. This is what I do. And the people that handle my booking for me that I've basically promoted from within my community handle all that for me anymore. And so I started thinking, why doesn't YouTube create its own YouTube token? And your title in this video, no, it's not. I'm getting to that. Basically, what I see so much opportunity here, both A, to utilize blockchain technology to create a solid use case for that technology, and ultimately do it on a platform that will enable it to expand while utilizing things like machine learning, so forth and so on. So basically what my proposal is for YouTube is to create a tube token, a utility token on the Cardano blockchain. And I'll explain why. So, and I've made all these notes and things. Well, you can't see, you just see a big white page. But I started kind of explaining a lot of this on Twitter, which is why I'm doing this video. Let me see here. Let me find this video or this. I don't know where those tweets went. Hold on. It's the last thing I tweeted, really. Okay. Oh, I need to go to the first one. Sorry, it's really late. All right. Oh yeah, I started a Reddit community also for crypto bot trading. Make sure you guys follow me on Reddit because I'm really trying to get some more karma on there so I can get more active on Reddit. Show this thread. Okay. So I basically started by saying YouTube should launch its own utility token that is easily converted into Bitcoin. Creators of I have it reversed because it's late. Creators of non-kid content can sell their own paid content and pay through YouTube. If it's kid-friendly, it's monetized normally. Again, it's reverse. If it's not kid-friendly, it's monetized normally. YouTube takes 5% of all else. This way, non-monetized, non-kid-friendly content can still draw on advertisers through a utility token on the Cardano blockchain. So our content is still supported by YouTube. Here's the thing. If your videos are not monetized, now this has never been proven to my knowledge, and I don't know if it's the case. I used to do really well on YouTube's algorithm, and I always had monetization turned off. So this could be a moot point. I don't know. I don't know a lot about YouTube's algorithm. There are a lot of guys out there that are apparently really gaming that system, but I don't know what it is. So if a video is flat, okay, so when you upload a video or you do a live stream or whatever, you can select a box that says this video has paid advertisement in it, okay? Then there's another box that says, do you want us to explain this to your viewers? In other words, sometimes I'll do a video if I have a paid promo or something like that, and it'll say, this content includes paid advertisement. All right, now, so those are two things that already exist in YouTube. Now, what I would like to see happen, which could easily happen for kid-friendly content, is thus. They create a tube token, a utility token, not a security, no ICO, no crowdfunding, no nothing. It's simply a utility token purchasable by advertisers directly from YouTube, okay? As a means of creating a smart contract for an agreed upon rate for content with paid advertising in it. Now, before I get into that, if a video is flagged as having a paid ad, so if I'm doing, let's just say you're doing kid-friendly content, you can't be monetized because they can't use the algorithm. They don't know what's happening, but you know your audience and they can create an algorithm or through machine learning or whatever and basically say your average view time is X. Your average view numbers are X. That is worth approximately X, right? And so let's say I'm going to do a toy review, okay? And my toy reviews typically get 2 million views because I've got, 600,000 subscribers. And advertisers want to have paid features or a paid commercial or something like that in my video. if I establish an agreement with said advertiser and we say, okay, according to YouTube's metrics, this is how much I should be charging you for an ad. So I can either agree with that or try to negotiate a higher rate, okay, whatever that is. But it has to be a minimum of X so that YouTube knows, based off of this user's views and all this stuff, an ad in this video is worth X amount of dollars. That advertiser then agrees to that sum. And we're going to schedule this promo to take place on a video on a specific date. Okay, so on January 5th, I'm going to do a video with your paid ad. You've agreed to pay this much for that ad. Now, when I go into my YouTube studio, I'm going to go into a calendar. I'm going to click new video schedule on a particular date. And when I schedule that video, a pop-up will say, do you have paid advertising? Yes, I do. I'm going to click yes, I do. And then that information is going to come up saying, what is the company name and what is the rate of the advertisement, okay? YouTube's algorithm is already going to know, based off of my views and everything else, how much I should be charging for a video or for a promo and an ad. And their algorithm's going to know how long I've talked about this particular project so they can get as specific as they want with it. Then I'm going to plug in the advertiser's email address. That advertiser will then, once I've scheduled that video and I plugged in how much we've agreed upon, it's going to create a smart contract, okay? That smart contract will then basically be shipped off to the advertiser through his email address. And then, trying to get all this stuff straight at 3 in the morning. Then that advertiser will get the notification, YouTuber X has sent you this smart contract, provide payment here. So what they would then do is they would basically purchase tube tokens, okay, through their system that would then be paid to the content creator, okay? Now, from there, that contract is sealed, signed, delivered. Now, the video is scheduled to happen on that date. Those funds are then kept in escrow on the blockchain until that smart contract has been completed, meaning that video has been published, content has been discovered within that video pertaining to this advertiser's products, whether that's through keywords or whatever that have been, established in the smart contract. Once the video publishes, the funds are released to the creator. The deal is done. Then YouTube's algorithm or their system goes in and flags the video not as having paid advertisement, but specifically stating X company has paid X tube tokens for a paid promotion in this video. So now the advertiser has a built-in disclosure, because everybody that does paid content now needs to disclose this. And now apparently you're supposed to disclose exactly how much you've been paid. So whether that's in a crypto, I've been paid, half a Bitcoin, or I've been paid, whatever. Now YouTube's algorithm is doing that for the creator, so they no longer have to worry about that. Now the user, the creator, has utility tokens with a seriously strong use case and the ability to liquidate that on exchanges or even potentially through a system that YouTube utilizes to convert tube tokens into Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, or Cardano, or whatever the case may be, okay? My proposal is that they would do something like this on Cardano, because Cardano is ultimately going to be very decentralized through proof of stake, very scalable, smart contracts, all the bells and whistles that they would need to pull something like this off, okay? Then obviously the whole point of all of this is YouTube would be able to take their advertisement or their platform percentage. I don't know what the details are. I haven't mapped it all out, but I'm figuring 5% of the yield from legitimate advertisers, and that way they're able to establish advertisements, create a utility token that they can further expand on its use case, thus potentially driving up the value of this utility token, though none of that is ever said. They would never come out and say, yes, our YouTube token is going to be worth X amount, or the idea is for this to never become a security token. And I think this is absolutely all doable. And not only that, but depending on the overall token metrics, this could be an extremely fruitful thing for not only the creators, but YouTube and potentially advertisers. Because if an advertiser wants to then maybe speculate on the value of tube tokens, and they think, you know what, they're 10 cents right now. We do a lot of advertising through the course of a year. We're going to go out and we're going to buy, $1 million worth of tube tokens now, because we believe that the value of these things are going to be 30 cents over the next 6 months, 50 cents over the next year. Now, the companies have saved themselves a significant fortune by buying in on these tokens early and stocking up for their use on the platform to pay for content, for paid ads. There's no public-private sale. There's none of that stuff. Nobody's saying that these tokens are going to be worth more, but the token metrics itself and the potential use case for these tokens can speak for themselves. YouTube would never have to say anything of that nature. And ultimately, I feel like we need something like this. A lot of people have looked to Facebook and LBRY as being like, oh my gosh, Facebook is going to bring all these people to blockchain. Well, I don't think, and I said this way back, I don't think LBRY is ever even going to happen. But YouTube could very easily create a utility token that they would be able to use on YouTube and increase their revenue. I mean, it would just answer so many things. It would answer so many problems that YouTube is having right now. And I honestly believe that it's something that they should look into. And I already tagged Charles Hoskinson on this. I'm like, Charles, you need to go over there and start a meeting. Get talking. Because I believe that, especially now that we're in 2020, use case will be king. Use case will be king. Partnerships to expand upon those use cases will be king in the space of cryptocurrency. And I believe that somebody like YouTube, Google for that matter, man, I mean, they could just do a Goog, a Google coin, whatever. Call it whatever the hell you want. Do it on Cardano. Do it on the Cardano blockchain and do it quickly. And I believe that these guys could pull something like this off. I mean, you could literally do something like this in no time flat. And I mean, within 3 to 6 months, they could have this up and running before the next halving. And I can tell you right now that it would be a huge boon, not only to the crypto space, but I mean, look, if you're watching this video, let me know in the comments below. I want to know what you guys think. Should YouTube launch a tube token, a utility token that would do everything I said? As a content creator for kid-friendly content, what if you were able to do this and you could trade in, you could use these tube tokens to buy merchandise or products from the advertisers? I mean, this... If I did a full-blown video breaking down all of the potential for Google or YouTube doing something like this and what it means, like short-term and long-term, I'm telling you, it's absolutely, it's insanity that they haven't done this yet. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I mean, hopefully hopefully the title of the video isn't too terribly misleading. I mean, ultimately, I want you to consider what this means and what kind of use case this has. And let me know. I'm going to take a quick look in chat, and nope, won't happen. Yeah, right. They will never do that. Why don't ADA buy DTube? Oh, that's right. Jason beat them to it. Okay. Can you link any sources for this info? No, this is here. So here's this link. I'll put this in the chat. Look, I know that some of you guys are like, we need to decentralize YouTube. We need to do this. And I know a lot of crypto guys were talking about it because they were upset about what was happening with their content. And I understand that. And I agree to have a decent, I mean, LBRY is pretty solid. I know some of these guys have been talking a lot about BitTube, and BitTube looks good. I tried setting up an account on BitTube and it wouldn't let me. It kept giving me errors. So I'm like, if you're going to try and push something like this, it's got to be clean and work every time. It can't be built like Instagram, where like half the shit works on Instagram, No, we need a decentralized player. That's an awesome idea. New level on monetizing in decentralized manner, which is smart contracts. Right. Start your own video hosting platform and prove the case. Here's the thing. YouTube has been around for too long. If you are not on YouTube, you do not exist, in my opinion. YouTube has the people. It has the views. If my mother watches these videos at home, she gets notifications and she watches me all the time on her iPad. If I put content on some other platform, nobody else uses those yet. It would take a decade. It would literally take a decade for a new platform, decentralized or otherwise, to reach any kind of significance over YouTube. You're talking about a company that makes $170 million in 11 hours. Do you honestly think that some of these decentralized startup platforms had the kind of capital to be able to truly compete with a company like YouTube? And I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'm also a realist. There's nothing that's going to creep up on the tails of YouTube and take over. It's not going to happen anytime soon. It could happen someday in the future, especially if YouTube were to start dropping the ball and not catch up with the times, which I have to say, whether some of these companies like it or not, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, smart contracts, all of that stuff, that is the times. And companies like YouTube and Google and all of these other groups, whether they're already planning something on the back end that they haven't talked about yet or not, I expect they will. I expect something like this to happen. If they run into a situation where I don't know the statistics, but if they run into a situation where a large percentage of their ad revenue is based on kid-friendly content that they can no longer monetize, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to come up with a way to monetize those videos, and I believe that this is the answer. And I believe it's an answer that solves more than one problem. It's not just a willy-nilly kind of let's just throw more problems at it. I believe that this would truly open the door for YouTube to become more of a decentralized platform in the future. They could very easily, if they wanted to, they start off by creating a tube token. They start off something like this on like the Cardano blockchain, and then they grow from there. Maybe they come out with their own decentralized version. Maybe they do that on Cardano as well. It's a stepping stone. But I believe that it's going to be YouTube that at some point in the future creates a decentralized version of itself and slowly migrates there, depending on its adoption. Adoption is key. And as we move into 2020, I want everybody to really start looking into the projects that exist today and figure out and follow them and learn from them and try to find the projects with the best use case potential and start using them. That's the problem that we have right now in this bear market. Until people who got into these altcoin projects at a much higher value, until those values reach or exceed those original all-time highs, people are not going to be willing to utilize those tokens on those blockchains because they don't want to lose any money. And that's a problem that we're faced with right now. This isn't about, a lot of these projects have great use cases and you can still use these tokens, but most people are going to buy more. But then the question is, well, now they've just averaged down on their original position so they can get out sooner and start utilizing these things without losing money at much shorter time frame, but ultimately that's still the question. It's loss. A lot of people invested in ICOs and other crypto projects at a high or near high during the fall of the market. And so a lot of these people are holding significant bags they don't want to let go of. And anything that they purchase in addition to what they previously bought is just averaging down and improving the likelihood and the odds of them being able to exit those positions at base price or potentially at profit. So I believe that this is happening. I believe that this is going to happen. Whether it happens on Cardano or not, that's wishful thinking, of course. But I do see this being a very solid answer to a lot of issues that YouTube is going to start having right now, because a lot of this stuff started going into effect as of yesterday. Take another quick glance at chat and then go from there. Jason, start your own version of YouTube. I would not have the resources whatsoever to try and launch a version of YouTube. YouTube has its own agendas. That's true. But if you don't think those agendas can be expanded upon through use of blockchain technology and their own token, I'm telling you, some people could say, well, you could probably do that without a cryptocurrency. Yeah, you probably could, but that's not really the point. That's really not the point. Because through a cryptocurrency, you're able to do a lot of things through those smart contracts on that blockchain that you can't do with fiat transfers. So yeah, of course, agendas exist, but we should capitalize on their exposure. I think it's worth a try. Amen. I agree. How can kids buy crypto to use it? It's not about kids buying the crypto. It's about the advertisers. The advertisers would be completing the smart contract you create on the YouTube platform at the agreed upon price. So for those of you guys that came in late, because I can see there's probably about 60 of you that have come in since I explained the original thing. And I'll do this real quick. I'm a YouTube creator, but I do like toy reviews and things like that. Because of these laws, because of this $170 million lawsuit, because of COPPA, YouTube's no longer going to be able to monetize the videos that I put out. And if they're not monetizing my videos, every video I put out that would typically pay me $2,000, $3,000 or even $50,000, depending on how many millions of views my videos get on YouTube, that's going to go out the window. So a lot of these families, a lot of these YouTubers that live off of their YouTube monetization will be no more. They are not going to be monetized the way that they used to be. Because of that, careers, livelihoods are going to be lost, okay? This is a resolution to that. I'm a YouTube creator. I create a video on the latest toy review. My average view count per video is 1 million. What's the CPM on 1 million views for advertising? Let's just say it's, I don't know. I mean, obviously it depends on the market, right? But for toy reviews, I don't know. Let's say you get 1 million views, you make 20 grand. I don't know. I'm pulling that number out of thin air. So now an advertiser wants to pay me 20 grand to have a paid promotional item in that video that gets 1 million views. In YouTube, I'm scheduling that video. I'm naming, this is the advertisement company. This is the email address for the advertiser's contract or contact information. I click submit. That smart contract gets alerted to, or a notification of that created smart contract goes to the advertiser. They're displayed with the agreed upon price for that paid feature, approximately 30 seconds, approximately 1 minute feature, whatever the case may be, product placement, whatever, okay? Then the advertiser basically purchases the tube coins, the tube tokens, directly from YouTube, which are then sent to the creator, less like a 5% commission that goes to YouTube. And that's the cycle. And then those tube tokens can be expanded upon for a wide array of use cases that help content creators. Maybe YouTube wants to add additional features. Maybe you want to, you could use tube tokens to purchase, I don't know, better algorithmic placement. I don't know, whatever, right? But the point is that the sky's the limit for something like that. And because it's a utility token and not directly fiat currency, I'm guessing that there's a little more flexibility in what they're able to do. All right. Jason, YouTube is a domestic abuser we can excuse for not leaving. Oh, Jason, YouTube is a domestic abuser we can excuse for not leaving. Which are on Netflix is hard to follow. It is a little hard to follow because it does jump around a lot. I actually went to YouTube and watched some people's kind of explanation of things going on, and then it all made sense. Because they take a lot of different time periods and bring them all together, ultimately leading up to the end. And it makes a lot of sense. Crow, I'm assuming you meant Crow, I would like to see you work on how we can buy stocks and bonds with crypto. The IRS has labeled Bitcoin a currency, so it should be treated like it. Interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night and try to go to bed without waking up my wife. So I just wanted to get all these ideas out into the world before I forgot during my slumber. So I wish you all well. Happy New Year, everybody. And I will see you again soon. Thanks. Have a good night.